Hello everybody, welcome back. BFix series time here at Rockingham. Bottom has fallen out this week. Ever since the super late model race, I've just had really bad luck, bad driving, really frustrated. It's just not been good, and normally this would be the time that I would take like at least a week off just to kind of reset, forget about it all, try to come back with a better mindset. I'm trying to be a little bit mentally stronger, fight through it. Just want to survive this race, get something decent in. This and SK Fix has just absolutely murdered me. Some my fault, but a lot of just really bad breaks, wrong place, wrong times kind of things. Get taken out early on and being done in races. So I'm gonna try to do what we can. Smaller field, weaker field, but hopefully just manage. Qualified fourth. Like to finish in the top 6 or 7 if I can. But we'll see what we can do. Not time that start the best on the tires just a little bit. Try to slot it in front of the 4. Struggled here this week with getting the car over the bumps correctly and finding the right amount of pace to go tire save but still hang with everybody. Although I've never really got the chance to run without a damaged car at all, so I can't even tell you if my pace over the course of the race is worth anything or not. As you can see, the front 3 checked out. I'm going to be getting attacked soon, I'm sure, from the 4. Blue 1 and 2. I find that I tend to underdrive 3 and 4 quite a bit in relation to what the quick guys are doing.
The leader has just done a 24.83. That was a 24.86.
Actually, even though I don't drive it well, I'm more comfortable with this line just because I spent the most amount of time here in ARCA, and this is a very similar line to what I was running in ARCA. So I'm a little more familiar with it, used to it compared to what you had to do in the trucks. But I think I definitely executed better in the trucks up to this point so far.
It's just done a 24.81.
So we'll see if we can actually do anything decent in this race. One car goes spinning, didn't bring out a caution. Looks like they've disconnected. Looks like it'll only leave us with 16 cars on the track. Definitely a smaller field, and by far much weaker than what I've run up to this point, which is, I think, what's added to the frustration for me in this series, at least, is I've had fields that if I would have finished halfway decent, could have really gained a good amount of iRating out of it, and just never really got the chance to get a good run in and kind of compare myself to everybody. Feel confident in my tire saving. Whether or not that means I can have the pace in tire save, because it's shown before that I can tire save to the wear percentages. It just ends up not being very quick, or I can go quick but I kill the tires. So I don't know whether or not we'll have the pace, but if we can stay green, maybe that'll give me something to, you know, keep me inside a top 5. Really enjoy this combination. They just been snake bitten and then compounded on top of it with bad driving, and that's really frustrated me quite a bit.
That was a 25.04.
So we're starting to pull away from the 4 and the 2 a little bit. I feel like I'm overdriving it too much. Things that I was trying to focus on was not using too much wheel deflection into the corner to turn it, and then once I get it set to not go past that point, resist the urge to try to turn it down to get it turned. You know, just use the brakes to make any corrections as needed.
You've just done a 25.21.
It's like the leader's starting to pull away. Starting to catch up to the 3, or the 1 and the 6 a little bit. Still very early on, though. Just looking to hang with everybody, I think. I think for me, I'll probably be on the bottom most of the race. Unless I need to make a pass or something. I've seen some people start going up high as the run goes on. I think for me, the bottom is going to be the better place to run when I can. I think he was catching up a little bit there and then started falling back a little bit. Bad exit out of 2. Gotta minimize that slide. Keep the right rear in check, which will help drive off as the run goes on. Like I said, these bumps I struggle with at times, hitting them the right way.
That was a 25.39.
I think it's partially due to where you run the line in this compared to the trucks, but I think the Xfinity car doesn't like the bumps as much. But I could be completely wrong. Just driving everything incorrect. So trying to make sure that I don't clip the apron there out of turn 2, because that'll just completely upset the car. Too low into the entry. The 3 killed the run off. Comes the 4 and the 2. There goes the 6 and the 1. Really torched 3 and 4 that last time. A little bit of tire smoke out of the 6 there. Might have locked it up, possibly.
You've just done a 25.40.
Also trying to be smoother onto the throttle out of turn 2. Help with that right rear. Yeah, 6. A little bit of a slide tire smoke again. Maybe he's gonna have some handling issues eventually as he battles the 1. Kind of just driving this thing like 90% right now, both for tire saving as well as just trying to get a solid run in. Even if it's not the absolute fastest I could have gone, getting a solid clean run in I think will do a lot more for my confidence. That should hopefully lead into better races going forward than, you know, trying to go as hard as I can, pick up as many spots as possible. Which means that my mental game is not as strong as it needs to be, but trying to work on it.
The lap time was at 25.
Change my mindset for how I view things, and that's certainly not an easy thing to change in a short time period.
The track temp's increasing. It's now 113 Fahrenheit.
Starting to pull away from
That lap time was
4 and the 2 again,
4.6.
and they've got a big gap back to the 7, so a good spot right now. Catching back up to the 6 and the 1. Not really feeling like I'm pushing it much harder. We're getting closer to halfway. We're going to be 20 down with 35 to go this time by. Overdrove the entry there into 3 a little bit. You can see the 1 starting to pull away from the 6. I think the 6 might be feeling the effects of some of the sliding he was doing, especially going into turn 3. Although I just completely tanked 1 and 2 there. Terrible 1 and 2. Glad we're getting a decent run to start at least. Makes this a lot more fun. A lot better for me to just kind of get into a rhythm and build that confidence and that momentum. Looks like the 7 might be closing in slightly. Gap to the 4 and the 2 staying fairly consistent. Not a good exit out of turn 2 there. Lucky enough to keep it off the wall. 1's really starting to separate himself from the 6. Although the 3 is still setting the pace. Hardest thing I've been struggling with. Well, I wouldn't say it's the hardest thing, but definitely something I've been struggling with. I run 16:1 on the steering ratio just because of the wheel that I use. Helps me to make sure that I'm not steering the car too much and sliding the right front and shredding it. But it also makes it tougher to correct the car. So when it gets the bumps and gets kind of the Xfinity wobble kind of thing down the backstretch, I have a hard time sometimes trying to catch it with smaller wheel inputs, and I can end up all over the track. And really trying to focus on very, very small corrections to keep the car going straight. Definitely something that I've had to like actively think about while I'm doing it. It's just not quite ingrained in muscle memory yet.
25.86.
Not a great entry into 1 there. Holding pace with the 4, pulling away slightly from the 2 and the 7. Just past halfway now.
Okay, Jake, you're halfway home. Your fuel is fine. That lap time was 25.83.
I got it back at the braking point into turn 1. Tire wear starting to show and starting to overdrive it. Not a great exit out of turn 2 either. I almost feel like if I can drive clean, I might have a shot at trying to crawl back to the 6. Maybe try to steal a 3rd place away. But really got to be mistake-free to do that. Just backing those brake points up a little bit. Made a bad lap though, so gain a good amount of time on them there.
You've just done a 25.93. Good consistency. Keep them coming.
Really feel the difference. Tire wear now. It's a little too much there off of turn 2. Not gonna push the issue to get by him. Got some time. 4's not right on our bumper, so got a little bit of time to be able to find a good spot. Try to get by the 6, and I don't think there's any shot at getting to the 1 or the 3, so it's gotta be smart about this one. Gets a little bit of a better 3 and 4 that time.
That was a 26.08.
Feel like 1 and 2 is my better end compared to him, where I can gain more time. kind of goes back and forth. He'll gain, and then I'll pull away. He's starting to separate himself from the 2, and the 7's falling further back. So overall, really can't be unhappy with this spot. 6 slides over to try to get to his inside. He kind of turned down on me. I guess we'll look at that, and I'll apologize if I happen to go open him, but I feel like he was trying to cut back down and to defend once I was already alongside of him. So, not the cleanest pass, but at least in car I don't feel like I owned as much fault for that contact. Thankfully it didn't send him spinning. Just kind of knocked him off the track. Also allowed the 4 and the 2 to close up quite a bit. So now there's a 3-car pack there. So I'm hoping they can get into some racing. I can try to separate myself out. The 1 has really chased down the 3. That's now 310, so that's going to be a good battle for the lead. Unfortunately, I'm not really close enough to watch it all that well, but he has massively cut that gap down. Still entering a bit too shallow there into turn 3. Kind of pulling away a little bit from the 2. Gap to the 6 and the 4 stayed pretty consistent since I got by.
P3.
Really bad exit out of 2 there, slid the car. Got 1 slow car, that's the 16. We're still quite a bit back. Looks like the 6 is starting to hold off the 4 a little bit more. I feel like that was a great entry into 1. Like I had a better exit out of 2 though. I got into that little bit of the wobble down the backstretch that I was talking about. Just trying to make smaller corrections in the wheel.
Okay, Jake, the next car is white.
1 did get by the 3. So we got a lead change. I wonder if the 3 just pushed the tires too hard. I don't know if we'll be able to kick to him. Doesn't look like I'm any faster, probably still 2/10 off of him each lap, but especially when I completely tanked turn 1 like that. That was absolutely horrible turn 1. 6 is starting to pull away from the 4, but I've opened the gap on all of them, so in a good position for a 3rd place finish right now, which would be amazing. Would do wonders for getting me back on the right track.
The gap behind is now 1.33.
Since we got the wall, I was way too low on exit of turn 2, pushed up. 16 stays on the apron, thank you to him. I'm so glad that I had a big gap back to the 6 to make that mistake. Allowed the 3 to pull away, but like I said, with a little over 10 to go, I'm going to need a miracle to get to him. And I know that's not going to happen without a caution. And if we get a caution, we're going to revert to short run pace then for the rest of the race, and that's where I'm going to be at a disadvantage. Just going to get back.
That was at 26.41.
Just run consistent, clean laps, maintain 3rd place. Like I said, 3rd place is plenty good for me. It's even better than where I'm supposed to finish. Not a great entry into 3. I need to wait just a little longer on it. We're just trying to close the gap back up to the 6. We're continuing to pull away.
6.44. The gap behind is now 1.34.
bit of a better entry into 3, still high, but feel like it was better. You can see about 1/10.5 faster as well, so. But I promptly go screw up 1 again. Consistency is definitely something that I really need to work on if I want improvement to run better. Those are the kind of mistakes you cannot make if you want to compete in tougher fields. Did it again in 1, not quite as bad, but I think I'm also entering 1 differently, and a really bad exit out of 2. Slid the car. Just need to reset, get it back. Late race blunders. Thank the Lord for a massive gap. Allows me to make those mistakes without any penalty. And we're not even close to being quicker than the 3, so. Which that's okay. He's a much better rated driver than I am. Just looking forward to seeing what the wear percentages are if we're actually able to do all 55 laps green. So far we're headed for that.
That lap was a 26.34. You're pulling away.
Never actually did a 55 lap run in practice. Focused on doing 25 to 30 lap runs. I have an idea of what I want to see percentage wise, but we'll leave that for the post race review. Just trying to click off consistent laps right now. Just to keep building that confidence, maintaining 3rd place. 5 to go this time by. Opened up quite a bit of a gap. Force trying to challenge the 6 again. Not a great 3 and 4 there. It's going to hurt the runoff. And I get the wall. I got on the throttle. Had the wrong entry or exit angle. Got on the throttle too early. Just got the ball. Thankfully, still had that massive gap, so no incident points, just cosmetic damage and pride. Bet it hurt. Free to go. I got lap cars battling side by side for position, so I'm just gonna sit back and let these 2 sort it out. Looks like the 13 does get by the 12, but he runs really high, so the 12 is gonna get a run. Middle of 3 and 4 falls back in behind him. They go back to single file. I think we got enough of a gap that probably just sit behind these 2.
2 to go. Keep it together. We'll be on the podium.
Getting the white flag. This time by a little bit of a scrape. 13 gets the wall, so that's going to allow the 12 to get to his inside. 13 is dragging the wall. He's going to come across the track. 12 narrowly avoids him. Oi, oi, oi. That's not what I want to see in front of me at this stage of the race. We're just going to let these 2 go up the track. I'm just going to ride behind them. I've got enough of a gap to give up. Doesn't matter where I finish in relation to the leaders, and there's no reason to risk losing 3rd place over 2 lap cars wrecking each other. That's scary. Alright, like this lap, you can see how slow it is, but so it's just sitting behind these 2 and doing damage control. Alright, 55 green. Glad to have that.
Great drive. That's a podium.
Felt like I was the 3rd fastest car, honestly. Like, I really felt like I was quicker than the 4 and the 2, and the 6 was quicker up front, and then gave up that time. We'll take a look at how I got by him and see whether I pushed into him, hit the bumps, or if, you know, he did kind of turn down and try to pinch me down.
Good win, Eric.
Doesn't seem like he yelled at all. So guess we're okay that way. Let's take a look. Get the overlay off. And we'll go take a look at the tires first. 66.71. Yeah, it's a little bit worse than what I wanted to see. I know over 30 lap runs, I was trying to see somewhere around like 83, 84. So probably somewhere in that 70, 71 range, somewhere in that area. So there were some corners that I overshot. Multiple times I overshot 1 and 2, and when I come in with too much speed and push up the track, it's gonna wear on that right front more. So those numbers are pretty in line in what I expected to see. I don't know, just again can't have the pace to keep up with them. It's a work in progress. It'll get there. This track was a lot of fun for me, but was a little bit difficult to try to navigate everything and put together good laps. So we'll, like I said, it's momentum based, or I shouldn't say momentum based. This is confidence boosting. So hopefully it carries momentum, and then we get into. I forget what we run next week. Maybe it is Daytona. I don't know, but try to keep it going. If it's not Daytona next week, I don't honestly remember if Daytona's next week or the week after, but I guess something to build on. And we'll take a look at what happened with the 6. Let's see, I think it was. Catching up to him. Alright, so it'll be this lap we get by. This is really, I think, the only incident that I want to look at, which really, I guess it's an incident, but he's gonna get. No. I think he overshoots 3. Yeah, you can see he overdrives it, gets really loose. So I took advantage of it. So it was actually netcode. So let's see. So he ends up overdriving the entry, and that's why you see the car kind of kick the rear end out and start sliding.
What were your tires there at the end?
And it throws them up.
Middle right front was 71, middle right rear was 70.
Okay, so one confirmed the tire where I wanted to see, and it just wasn't there. Sorry, I was listening to that. He was 71.70, so let's back this up a little bit. So he pushes up. He starts cutting back down because I'm not quite there. I thought I was a little bit closer. So I need to judge these gaps a little bit better from inside the car. Sometimes it looks like I'm a lot closer than what I am. This is that situation. Sometimes I end up thinking I'm not as close as I am when I really am. So I need to definitely get better at running in traffic and judging these gaps a little bit. But he starts cutting down. I'm not really, I'm kind of maintaining the line, if slightly cutting down. And then there kind of started getting on the throttle, pushing it up a little bit. We make netcode there. Let's look at it from his perspective. Kind of see the line he's running. It's really tough because there's not really any lane markers or good seams to look off of. So I feel like I think he starts coming up the track a little bit and then rotates it and he kind of stops. And I was expecting him to go up a little bit, so that's where I pushed into him. And see if it ends up being netcode or if we do actually make contact. We're going up, then we kind of stop, and I think it was netcode that initiated that kind of bounced him. And then that got him loose, and then I actually make contact with the left front. So 50-50 deal. I think I owned more than what I thought initially inside the car. Probably needed to have stayed a little bit lower. I was trying to be patient, and then as soon as I saw him make that mistake, I felt like I was a lot closer to him than what I actually was. So need to be better at judging those gaps, those distances inside the car. Realize that I'm not quite there. Wait it out. I know I was faster than him, so easily with coming to lap 35 and having 21 to go, I could have continued to wait and been patient for a spot to try to get by him. So, like I said, I mean, he probably, I don't know, it looks like he cut down slightly. He definitely looks like he tried to pinch a little bit, not in like a malice way, just doing what he needed to do to try to keep me behind him. And I just anticipated him being up the track just a little bit more. Got on the throttle a little too early, got into him. But it's not 100% my fault, I would say. So let me know what you guys think of that. If you think that's a pretty accurate assessment, or if you think maybe somehow I own less blame in it, or if I own even more blame in it. And if you guys have tips for what you do for just, depth perception, basically, that distance, knowing exactly where you are. So hopefully you guys enjoy that one though. Glad to get a good race, and like I said, hopefully this is a good confidence booster, and it'll continue the rest of the week. And until the next one, I hope all your laps are fast, your races are clean, and your finishes are good. Thanks for watching.